Breaking cycles may mean you're going to disappoint people, and that's actually a really good thing. There's an inevitable backlash that will come when one dares to outgrow the emotional circus they were once expected to perform in. We've heard it all before. You've changed. You're acting so differently. You're really not the same person anymore. These are the classic refrains of those who would rather invalidate your emotions than confront their own behavior. How very convenient. Dearest reader, I regret to inform you that your transformation is bound to offend everyone, and that's precisely why you must do it. I'm Dylan Moore, author, cognitive behavior specialist, and dedicated advocate for emotional healing on a global scale. Your trusted guide through the absurd social expectations that keep people stuck in a labyrinth of self-imposed chaos. Now, I suggest we launch a delightful rebellion against the emotional nonsense and absurdities we've been conditioned to tolerate. In today's discourse, let's dismantle the limiting beliefs and expose the attempts of small-minded individuals who insist on gaslighting others into self-doubt and call out the ludicrous psychological gymnastics that keep people trapped in niceties at their own expense. Because here's the truth. Your healing is not a betrayal, and their disappointment is not your burden to carry. Food for thought. Now, why your growth is sending people into an emotional spiral. If someone is scandalized by your decision to develop self-respect, please consider the following. You were once predictable, unproblematic, the human equivalent of a well-trained but overworked butler, and now you've up and resigned from their service. Shocking. You were once the emotional life raft, their personal therapist, their go-to for crisis management. Now that you're enforcing boundaries, well, let's just say their distress is showing. You were once easy to control, and people who relied on your compliance tend to get very dramatic when you stop being so agreeable. How unfortunate for them. Your change makes them uncomfortable, because if you can evolve, that means they can too. And heavens, what a terribly inconvenient truth that would be. Now, let's be clear. You breaking a toxic pattern is not the tragedy they're making it out to be. It's simply the inconvenience of them losing access to an outdated version of you. Now, a bit on the hidden cost of keeping everyone comfortable. Before you convince yourself that backtracking is the path of least resistance, please ask yourself this. If you go back in your old ways, whose comfort are you protecting? Because it certainly is not yours. If staying small keeps them happy, what does that say about the expectations of you? Are you willing to sacrifice your growth for the sake of people who refuse to grow with you? It's rather like insisting on wearing last season's fashion because your friends can't handle a wardrobe upgrade. Ridiculous, isn't it? Now, how to stay unapologetically rooted in your growth. Accept that your boundaries will be seen as betrayal by those who benefited from your lack of them, and simply carry on. Stop justifying your evolution to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. They're not confused, they're just resistant. Let people sit with their disappointment. They'll adjust or they won't. Either way, it's simply not your problem. Celebrate your change. Celebrate who you are. And after all, any backhanded comment one can receive, well, that's their scandal, not yours. Now, for those who have spent a lifetime shrinking themselves to accommodate others, you were never actually too much. You were simply too perceptive, too intuitive, and too unwilling to ignore what was right in front of you all along. The world has long revered poets, philosophers, and visionaries for their emotional depth, yet when it comes to day-to-day existence, we are somehow expected to stuff it all down, lest it inconvenience someone with the self-awareness of a potted plant. We're not here to make ourselves smaller. We're here not to be palatable. We are here to break cycles, to honor our evolution, and to take up space that we're meant to inhabit. So, tell me, who's currently scandalized by your glow up? Drop a like or comment below, and let's normalize disappointing the right people. Together we rise, together we thrive. Let's rise fierce into a new life of personal power and freedom.